Hey there, I'm Carissa with Berean Academy, Homeschooling Gracefully, Clark Family Chronicles. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you had a blessed Christmas and New Year's. I think the last video I made was before the holidays, but now I'm second guessing that. So if not, oh well. So we were blessed to be able to go and visit my mother-in-law. We had a really simple and quiet Christmas and holiday season in general. I hope that you guys had a similar experience and were able to find some joy and blessings during this crazy time that we're living in. Okay, so I am here in our schoolroom, and miraculously it looks pretty much the same as the last time that I filmed in here. There is a mini tour up on the blog, a blog post about this room, and the very minimal changes that we made since setting it up in November, I think is when we set this room up. I think somewhere around there. And so I'll link that below if you want to check that out. Okay, so the purpose of this video, homeschooling with master books for grades K through 3rd-ish on a $400 budget. This post is not endorsed or sponsored by Master Books at all. I purchased all this curriculum. These are my honest thoughts and picks. So when you're first starting out, or at the beginning of each year, when you're sitting down and deciding whether you're going to pick curriculum or make your own, it can just be really overwhelming. And for me personally, I knew early on that it was going to be box curriculum. Like, it's just not feasible for me to create all of our own lesson plans. I had to be realistic about myself and my abilities and my time. And so I knew I was going to be picking box curriculum. And even after you made that decision, when you go and you start looking at what resources are available, I mean, there's a ton, and that can be really overwhelming. You can really let the weight of like the responsibility of your children's education really burden you. But it can also be really fun. Like, I personally really enjoy looking through samples, researching different curriculum. It's like really why this channel even exists, right? Even more fun than finding all these samples and doing all this stuff is finding something that really works for our family. So our homeschool journey started, we used Sunlight, and then we used a mix of eclectic resources, and that led us to finding master books. We started with one subject in master books, and then it just kind of was a dominoes, and now this is our first year 100% with master books. So I love that I have found a trusted resource of a Bible-based curriculum with lots of options and solutions for different subjects that really fits with our eclectic approach to homeschooling. I've already ordered our curriculum for next year for our 2021-2022 year, and that's fairly early. Most of you probably have not ordered yet, but part of that is because we switch levels whenever we need to. Like when a child finishes math, we just move on to the next math. We don't wait for the academic year to end. And then part of why I ordered it is so I could make this video. So we weren't ready to move on in all of our subjects, but in some of them, children are coming close to being done. And so I just decided to go ahead and order everything so I can show you everything we're going to use in one video. Okay, so like I said, this is for 2021-2022 academic year, which I say loosely because we school year round and take breaks when we want. We didn't really have a budget in mind, but I just knew what I needed to get, and that totaled up to be right around $400. I think it was like $405, which, I mean, $400, if you look at the cost of other boxed curricula, I mean, it's pretty actually insane. This is really affordable. I mean, it's not free. I know in my last video I talked about a completely free way to homeschool, but for 3 school-age children, having all of their subjects, including an elective course, covered for $400 is pretty incredible. I know that just like that would be thousands of dollars on the Sunlight track. So I feel like that's great. And it also is very minimalist friendly. Now, looking at my shelves here, I am not a true minimalist, but I do lean that way. I happen to live with some people who are very maximalist, but I love that our entire resources for an entire year for 3 children fits on one shelf in my bookcase. So I think that that's great. And it really makes it simple for people who maybe live in small spaces or RV or travel a lot. You can just grab what you need and go. So I think that's really versatile. Okay, so like I said, I have 3 school-aged and 1 tag-along toddler. So with multiple students, multiple age ranges, I find it easiest to combine my children wherever I can, and I kind of implement a one-room schoolhouse model. So I'm teaching to my oldest and adapting to my youngers, and letting them kind of glean what they will from the lesson, making it appropriate for them. So this year our family subjects are art, history, and science. So these are the ones that we're combining all together. For art, we are using living art lessons. This is obviously a Masterbooks title, like everything else in this video. And this is like for a higher age range. I think it says 4th to 6th, but my 2 oldest are the ones using this. My 2 younger ones aren't really going to be, other than if they want to kind of jump in on some of the projects. But my 2 oldest who are using this, I bought journals for each of them, the artist journal that comes with this course. They were very interested in this art course, and after looking through it, I really don't think I'm going to have to adapt it for them. I think that they're prepared for it, so worked out good. For history, we are using America's Story, Level 1 by Angela Odell, again, Masterbooks. So again, I am teaching to my oldest and adapting for the others. I only purchased 1 teacher guide because my oldest is really the only one that's going to be doing worksheets. My second oldest will do some worksheets. I'll pick and choose and just make a photocopy for that, which you have the license to do within your own family with Masterbooks. So the other children, the youngest ones, will really just listen in and listen as I read the text as a read aloud. I love that narration is built into this course, and we'll be utilizing that a lot. This year we've pieced together our own history with Mystery of History and Story of the World and Biblioplan, and it has worked, but it definitely has been, and it's been fun, but it definitely has been a lot of work for me. I found that I was doing fewer and fewer activities and really just doing a read aloud. It just was too time consuming for the season of life that we are personally in right now. For science, we are using the elementary zoology course. This one was a little bit of a splurge. It rings in around $100, which compared to other curricula is not high, but on the Masterbook scale, that's kind of high. But the value is definitely there. You get a lot of amazing resource reference books that are just gorgeous, and my kids have loved poring over those. Again, I bought 1 teacher guide because this one is written towards an older age range, 4th to 6th, I think. Although my 2 oldest do have an aptitude for science, they were excited about this course. So I will pick and choose worksheets, and there's a lot of worksheets in there that are like fully okay for like even the youngest. There's like coloring pages and stuff, and then other things that are more like fill in the blanks and definitions and stuff like that, we're gonna do orally or kind of hit those points using narration, so we can have discussions and make sure they understand these things without them having to do a worksheet. So that wraps up our one-room schoolhouse subjects, and then we choose to do reading, writing, and arithmetic, like the 3 R's individually. So my 3rd grade picks are language lessons for living education level 3 and math lessons for living education level 4. So a great thing about skill-based resources, which both of these series are skill-based, is that you can meet your child exactly where they are. So you'll notice I pick things not in your typical grade ranges per se, but these are exactly where my children need to be and where they're at, and so I love that we can mix and match and we're not boxed into a grade level. Speaking of these 2 series, I'm actually going to be making videos of both, like a review of the entire series. I already have a blog post up about the Math Lessons for Living Education series, like a review and testimony, and I'll link that below. And the video for that will be ready soon. And then I'll be moving on and making a blog post about the language lessons series, and then a subsequent video. So I'm asked all the time if I think that language lessons and math lessons is enough. And I just have to say that I have seen a lot of progression in skills and retention and enjoyment in both of those series, and I found them to be very developmentally appropriate for all of the kids of mine that have used it, and so, which is the 3 that are school aged. Yes, they are both enough, and they are both great series, and I'd really like to dive into that in videos devoted to each of those. And I have to say, after kind of informally observing my kids around peers, whether that's at church or sports teams or just friends, play dates, I find that they are meeting the same milestones as their friends and peers, and so I think that kind of speaks for itself that, yeah, it's working. So my second grade picks are Math Lessons for Living Education Level 3 and Language Lessons for Living Education Level 2. So my kids are always really excited when they get to move from one level to the next, except for in this case, moving from Language Lessons Level 1 to Level 2, the prospect of that is making my daughter feel sad because she really felt like they modeled the character for Level 1 based on her. And when she opened up the book and I said, "This is your language book," she was like, "It really is. Look, they drew me." So she's kind of sad to be moving on to a book that doesn't have a cartoon version of her on the cover. But other than that, she's excited. And this daughter also used All About Reading Level 1 as a supplement. And she has completed Level 1, and I don't have any plans to purchase Level 2 at this point. I really don't think she needs any more phonics than the phonics that are in Language Lessons Level 2. She needed a little bit more when she was learning to read, and we found that All About Reading was super helpful for her where she was at. But at this point, I think it would just be kind of overkill. So my kindergarten picks are Math Lessons for Living Education Level 1, and then Foundations Phonics. This year, she's been using Simply K. And we chose to use the full year schedule, so I didn't start Foundations Phonics, you know, at week 23 or 26 or whatever you can with Simply K. So we're going all the way through Simply K, and then we'll use Foundations Phonics for an entire year. And then in first grade, she'll use Language Lessons Level 1 for an entire year instead of doing the half-year schedule. And I'm really excited to be going back through Foundations Phonics. We've used this once before, and I love the biblical focus of the narratives. And last time I had all the kids listen in, sort of like morning basket style, to kind of have like a devotion. And I'm going to do that again because it's a really beautifully written course. So with my kindergartner, I don't plan to have her use All About Reading Level 1 at this point. I'll kind of wait and see. And if she needs more reinforcement and needs more in-depth phonics work, then we will use it because I still have it. Otherwise, I won't use it. So I'm really excited about our choices this year. I'm excited to be using 100% master books. I haven't found any other publisher that offers a more theologically sound, apologetics focused, developmentally appropriate, how many buzzwords can I throw in here, right? Eclectic and varied solutions to subjects at such an affordable price. Like, I mean, it really is insane. And so we're very happy to be part of the Masterbooks family. Also, the Moms of Masterbooks app is a really helpful tool. I love connecting with moms there. So if you're on there, Carissa Clark, friend me. I know I've plugged my Instagram in previous videos, but I have since left Instagram and Facebook, but I am still on the Masterbooks app. So I still get to connect with people there, and it's really fun to share our Masterbooks in action shots and things like that, which I used to do on my Instagram. So a look ahead, as I mentioned, there's a schoolroom tour on the blog and the Math Lessons for Living Education review and kind of testimony of us using the series is on there. There will be videos for that and for the language lessons review and testimony coming. And then also I have just sort of like a shameless plug. I created this prayer and Bible study journal. I will do a flip through video on this, like devoted just to this. It'll be just a short video. The PDF for this journal, like if you just want the layout pages in this cover to like print out and put in a binder, is on the blog, totally free. That'll always be free. There's also a link to purchase this physical copy. So yeah, I will do a more in-depth flip through of that if anybody is interested. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear in the comments what you're planning on using, things that you're researching. If you have any questions about the courses that we picked, I'd be happy to answer them. And I'll be doing, probably flip throughs of each of them, maybe, or more like maybe. I'll be doing flip throughs probably. But please feel free to comment and reach out. And if you like this, please push the like button, subscribe. It really helps grow the channel, as well as like commenting and engaging with me. It really does help further this. I'm not really quite sure what the future of this channel holds, like if it'll keep growing, if we'll keep doing it. It's it's already grown a lot. I mean, it's really small still, like I get that in like the YouTube world, but for me this is massive, right? I didn't foresee like this growing or anything, so I really appreciate you all being here and chatting with me. And yeah, until next time, happy schooling.